Our Minister, starting, just taking up from where member from Northwest Clarendon left off with the Spark program. I just want to ask a question to put into context the Spark. What is the total number of roads listed across Jamaica, and what is the kilometer associated with that total? And then tell me what is the total amount of roads associated with Spark and the amount of kilometers now which will be associated with the Spark program.
He doesn't actually.
So we have about 26,000 kilometers of roads across the island. We do not assess the number of roads, we assess the amount of kilometers.
All right, so 26,000 kilometers.
Thereabout.
And for Spark, we're doing how many?
We are going to be doing about 630 roads.
No, you said kilometers.
You say you know the road.
You say you don't know road, so you say kilometers.
Look here.
So there are about 630 roads that we're going to be doing, which are community roads, and about 63 main roads. The reason why the number is 27,000 and not divided into individual roads is that a lot of the roads in Jamaica are not under the governance of NWA. Some of them are private roads, some of them are orphan roads. But as part of our evolution into a proper road management system, the what's the name of the geospatial unit? The National Spatial Unit was sent out to map road distance. But when we did the Spark program, we did a consultation where people chose individual roads. And those are the roads that we're repairing now.
So to answer the question, Minister, you're saying overall there are about 26 kilometers of road. That is overall, not NWA alone.
26,000 kilometers of road.
But for Spark, we are doing 250 kilometers of road. That's
no, I said we're doing 630 roads.
But in kilometers, that is 250.
The Spark program was not defined by per kilometer.
No, man, understood. But in the book it says we will rehabilitate in 250 kilos based on the physical target. So I'm just clarifying if that's the correct information.
Let's say we're doing about 1,200 kilometers of Spark roads.
1,200?
Yes.
So why would the physical target suggest 250? At 19,000 C18, it is saying physical targets initially,
250
rehabilitation of 250 kilometers of road pavement. So is that an incorrect statement in the budget?
I'm trying to find what you're talking about.
19,000 C18 in the capital budget. Physical targets. Number 7. Yes. So is that an incorrect statement?
That would probably be for the fiscal year, but
can't be for the
no, man. This is the overall physical targets.
Well, that would not be correct.
All right, why it couldn't be for the fiscal years? Because in the same at number 6 is stating the total amount allocated for Spark, which is 45 billion.
That could not be correct.
So the 250 is incorrect.
Yes, that is incorrect.
But the document is incorrect.
Okay. So the real figure should have been what? Let me just add it.
Overall, we're doing 1,200 kilometers of Spark road.
1,200 kilometers. Okay. And you said no for the difference between parochial and main roads. You said 630 parochial and 63 main roads roughly will be the total.
That's correct.
All right, Minister.
You can't ask.
Just to add on to that question, could you tell us the average per constituency that 690 plus roads represent?
So
is it an equal allocation?
The Spark program is not predicated on per kilometer in terms. The Spark program.
We passed that already, Minister.
The Spark program is predicated on the roads suggested in the consultation, where each constituency got 10 roads.
Each 10.
Right.
So the answer is 10 per constituency, Minister.
So there are 10 roads per constituency.
That's all I'm asking, Minister. Okay. All right, Minister, another follow-up question. Based on how I know the system operates, you would have instructed roads to commence. How many roads would you have instructed persons to commence, and what you think would have been a reasonable allocation to complete such?
So we
Yep.
are expecting, we have started, we have started 163 roads, which is what we have instructed to commence. And your second question was?
No, I saw an article saying it's instructor 401. So is that incorrect?
No, we're saying by a particular time we will. That's not what we have done.
All right. For the so you have instructed them to commence 120.
63.
163. And what do you think would have been a reasonable allocation to complete this 163?
What is the allocation to complete the 163? That's hard to define as it transcends financial years. So I would have to go and look for that information to give to you.
All right, Minister. I asked in the context, I realized that last financial year, it would have been budgeted that 20 billion would have been spent this year and 14 next year to complete. I notice now there's only 4.5 that is really allocated this year. So knowing that is only 4.5 billion allocated for this financial year, what is the reasonable expectation with regards to the amount of roads we can complete in this period?
I didn't hear that one. Can you repeat that question for me, please?
Minister, you need me to repeat that question?
Yes, yes. Repeat that one. I never heard it. Sounded too brilliant.
Minister, I'm saying that last time we had predicted to allocate 20 billion for this financial year and 14 next year to complete. Only 4.5 billion is allocated this year. So what is the reasonable expectation of the amount of roads that we can actually complete based on what you're starting in this financial year?
I did say at the beginning that we expect that the contract will be completed, and we have a discussion to the Ministry of Finance where the Ministry of Finance has committed to provide the additional resources to complete the project.
So you're still expecting to complete in the duration that was originally there?
We're expected to complete it within contract, yes.
Okay, I ask that again because I noticed in the budget it is spread out to 2030 with allocations of 4.5 this year. I think next year the allocation is 8, then 12, then 8. So since it has now stretched out to 2030, is it that we are still expecting to complete within the original duration? And why, if that's the case, we have it spread out to 2030?
So
We want anything you know.
So-
That's a big question. Is your purple tie look like you got married?
Yes, Minister.
you ready?
I've been ready.
So that probably is a projection. What we do know is that we have a binding contract that has a start date and an end date. And the government is obligated and committed to providing the resources. What I'm saying to you is that based on the budget trends,
Yes.
and if you can look at the Mobile Perimeter Road as one example, capital funds can be moved from place to place throughout the financial year. So as the Spark program accelerates, the projections that are in the book may not hold true. It may mean that the Ministry of Finance, which they have expressed a willingness to do, will transfer funds as they have done before, which is why we are now at 100% of our capital spending in this ministry. They will give us the funds to complete the
So
program.
this budget was a joke.
Well,
Disagrees with you.
Well, Minister, last question on that. Since we have moved from the 20 to 4.5 for this fiscal year, what estimated fiscal impact you think would happen based on this reduction in capital investment in this financial year?
I must apologize, my colleague. I cannot comment on fiscal impact. That's a matter for the Ministry of Finance.
Okay, Minister. Can you turn to 19,009 in the recurrent bridge rehabilitation and maintenance? Just a question.
Repeat that for me. What was your question?
Capital 19,000.
19,009,
page 9.
activity 10,625 on a bridge rehabilitation and maintenance. Just a couple of questions.
19,009.
Yeah, and a recurrent.
Oh, recurrent.
Yes.
19,000 is capital.
No, it's
When was the 90,000 rand? Going back to the recurrent budget.
okay. You may go ahead.
Page 9.
Minister, the figure for the allocation for bridge rehabilitation notice is 240, and it states that there's an allocation in that for 133 to complete the Craig Mill Bridge. So that would leave a remainder of 127. Is it reasonable to assume that 127 billion would be an average amount to rehabilitate one particular bridge?
No. So this fund
Yes.
that you see here, part of it is for Craig Mill, as you see.
Yes.
There is some for Spring Village, which is in St. Catherine,
Oh,
and there is some for maintenance of other bridges across the island.
okay. I was asking because of the number of bridges across Jamaica that are in a deplorable condition, including some that would have been affected in Hurricane Melissa.
There's a different program for that.
Yeah, I heard you mention earlier that there are only 3 that were damaged in the hurricane. So just for clarification, if you could list those, because I know in my constituency alone there are 2, and we have submitted those. But based on the damages assessed, what is the allocation now that you have in place for that particular program to repair those bridges, not only those damaged in Hurricane Melissa, but those that were long-standing from before?
So the National Works Agency would have about 800 bridges that is in our custody.
Yes.
Annually, we assess about 10% of our bridges. We have a program called the Accelerated Bridge Program, which for this year is going to look at fixing approximately 47 bridges across the island, a large portion of which are in the disaster area. These bridges would have been assessed from before the hurricane. The damage to the 3 bridges during the hurricane were assessed as bridges that were damaged and require intervention.
Okay.
We would not have put out minor damage as damage that require intervention.
Okay. Well, I didn't ask about minor damage. Everything we speak of would be major, like the ones you spoke about.
We have 3 bridges that were damaged in Melissa that received major damage that
Okay.
require intervention.
All right, last question, Minister. 19,002. I'm going to refer to 19,002 and 19,000 C1. When they head in road construction and repairs. So for 19,002, I noticed that the approved estimates would have had 11 billion. The revised would have had 16. But now the estimates for 26-27 would be down by half, 50% from the revised to 8 billion. And in the capital budget on 19,000 C1, it would have gone down by about 20%. So I'm asking, with the deteriorating road conditions that we have had before Melissa and complicated by Melissa, how do you justify the figure being reduced by such a significant amount for road construction and repairs?
Well, I did say already that the Ministry of Finance does make allocations throughout the year during supplementary estimate as the need arises. And
So why wouldn't it be in the original? Since we already know the situation, why wouldn't we have budgeted it for it from now instead of waiting on the supplementary to do stuff like that?
I note your comment, and I'll definitely ask the Ministry of Finance why they didn't do it immediately rather than do it over
Why are
time.
you throwing anti-favor under the bus?
All right, thank you, Minister. No further questions.